What's up, guys? Today we're going to cover 3 of the best builds that you can run with the latest V Rising patch. Now this is going to exclude Chaos Volley builds because I like to show things beyond that. Chaos Volley, while it did get a good nerf, is still a strong ability, though not nearly as broken as it once was. So with that said, we're going to show things that you can do beyond that, some really strong builds that people might be sleeping on. And yeah, no crazy montage at the beginning. I'm going to be showing clips from testing tonight. I played for about like 7 hours tonight, just testing so much stuff just to see what's good and not good. And now I get the chance to share that with you. So without further ado, let's get into build number 1. So starting off is actually a mace build. Mace got a nice buff to the Q with the 150% physical damage that has been upped from 110% as well. So that with the 2-second fading snare that stayed the same, it's become a really strong ability. And so I decided to set out and make a build that you can just go mono v mono, just go man mode, act as a tank, act as a CC machine for your team. This is not the strongest of 1v1 builds, but that's okay because I think 1v1 duels sometimes are not the best representation, but this is something that works really well for 2v2s, for 3v3s, for a group setting to act as that role and give your teammates ability to maneuver. I did a 2v2 tournament tonight that I won with Icebox, and the main thing that we were doing is he was using this high DPS build that was very kind of niche, and then I was using a variation of this build depending on who we were fighting, what they were using, to just stay in their face and just cause so much mayhem against them and set up so much CC for my teammates. So this is almost like an off-tank, off-support build, but because of the recent buffs to the mace, you still pack a really nice punch. And so the basic idea is you rock the power surge for the movement speed, for the shield, the attack speed, which is really nice for the mace. And it really helps you kind of be able to land your crushing blow. To get that snare, to get that damage down. Now the options is if you want to, you can power surge yourself, do this, and then you can either do your smack to get the kind of knockback into the CC if that's the way you want to do it, or the other option is when you land the snare, you can quickly swap to slashers and get an easier incapacitate off with the slashers because they're going to be snares, so they're going to be really slow, so it's really easy to just insta pop into that and stun them. So that's one thing I like to do. I also just like running the just straight smack depending on what's going on in the fight if you need to get some space. And then you can also still rock axe with this. The X strike into that combo. The X strike into the mace Q combo and then swap weapons there is really strong. And then I like Crimson Aegis because a lot of guys who rock shield as you're in their face are going to pop it to kind of stop you from any melee damage until they dash. And so you can just pop that to break their shield. A slasher, as I mentioned, is going to become more and more a meta, I think, for a lot of like 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s. And so as people kind of go slasher, you can use the Crimson Aegis to block them back, as well as if your allies are being attacked, you can use the power surge just to give them a shield or movement to get away, or if they get incapacitated and you know that spear Q is coming, they're going to get chunked, you can pop the Crimson Aegis on them and knock that person away so they can escape with the incapacitate down and be able to keep living and not get hurt as much. So like I said, kind of an off-tank, off-support that packs a punch. Highly recommend this build. This has been what I've been using a lot for these duels. I've been having a lot of fun with it, so definitely recommend checking it out. Moving into build number 2, we're going to cover the Frost build because, of course, everyone knows Frost was already really strong, and with Chaos Volley kind of being pulled back and people are going to be looking for substitutes, you're going to see a lot more Frost users. They're great in 1v1s and 2v2s and 3v3s. Once you get the 4v4 and plus, it might get a little harder to be able to get the Frost to work, but if you're looking at a duo server, a trio server, even a solo server, this is really strong. It's very similar, if not the exact same, to the spear build that I did. So if you want like more detailed information, check out that video. But the basic idea is you're going to rock all Frost abilities, the Veil of Frost for the shield and the chill, the Frost Barrier to block projectiles as well as potentially chill them, and then the Frost Bat for the freeze. And then the main difference is instead of running an axe incapacitate into the spear Q, you're actually going to have to play a little more aggro and get the slasher incapacitate into the spear Q. Now you would want to rock Knights on the Beast with this, and if you're going into an actual server, you would want to have Rogue Blood with this for that crit chance, or Warrior if you're trying to just do more raw damage. It's not a spell focused build. This is using your spells to get CC down, the kind of hit them. The other options you can also do that I saw people doing is rocking Ice Nova instead of the shield. Now what this does is basically imagine this pillar is a player. What this does is you kind of pop it to the side of them and then you ice bat immediately to that direction you know they're going to walk out of. Unless they dash out, they'll still probably get a chill if you position it properly. And as they're kind of focused on getting out of the Ice Nova, you can immediately frostbat and get a freeze off, which you can then go and boom, 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 boom. You're going to see a lot more slashers, in my opinion, with the new meta because Axe Incapacitate got a bit weaker. That slasher is going to be the go-to, especially for 1v1s and 2v2s. So just get ready for that. And so this is a really strong build. I saw a lot of people rocking Frost tonight, and so I definitely think if you're looking for just an overall strong, safe build, no, this is going to be your go-to. And last but certainly not least, we have a Shadow Bolt build. Now this is a build that's been created by Icebox, my homie. He was using this, like I mentioned, he was using this really high niche DPS ability and combo in the 2v2, kind of playing off some of the pressure that I brought in and just the raw skill that the man has because he's just very good at the game. So this is a high skill build. However, it works really well in 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s. I think once you get the 4v4 plus, it gets a little bit harder because it is more like solo focus, like isolated focus. But this is a really strong build that he's basically kind of invented the combo for. And so the whole way it works is that you use sword, actually, which just got nerfed, but this is why. You use the sword shockwave to knock the person up. Now, you don't travel with it. Instead, as soon as that knockup happens, or as soon as you cast it, you immediately cast Shadow Bolt. Now, the cast time for Shadow Bolt, it will line up exactly when they land from the shockwave with the E. And so as soon as they land, they can't dash out, they can't pop a shield or a barrier time or anything. They're going to take the 200% magic damage and the snare from this. And this is really good because you get that nice damage with the shockwave and it's just a pack-a-punch with the Shadow Bolt. Now, the real high tech with this that you have to have is you got to have the General Soul Reaper. And the way it works is as soon as you hit the shockwave, right as you go to cast Shadow Bolt, what you're actually going to do is you're going to swap to General Soul Reaper and then throw it, because General Soul Reaper will give you the extra spell power as well as the spell crit strike chance, and it looks like it's roughly 150 points of damage from Shadow Bolt alone once you do the swap if you are able to crit. So that's a huge chunk of damage with a lot of CC kind of packed into it. That's really strong. And then lastly, because he's the man Icebox who we love, you know he's going to be rocking his crossbow. He likes to use the Q and everything to kind of force people to dash and force people to move so you can easily hit that shockwave. And yeah, those are the 3 new builds or newish builds or new alterations of builds that I think are incredibly strong right now in PvP, sometimes slept on, but I would love to know if you think they could be improved or changed or differentiated. I am a big fan of these builds. I've been having a lot of fun with them, and like I mentioned, there are some variations you can do, like with the Mace build. You can also just do things like with that. You can rock Purgatory with it for the slow and heal instead of the Crimson Aegis if you want to do that route, or you could go with the Mistrance so you have that kind of counter. Like, you can kind of change some of these abilities. I was playing around with Spectral Wolf because it's fun and it's actually really good in my opinion for 2v2, 3v3 plus nowadays. But so just keep that in mind if you're kind of curious about these builds. But I wanted to showcase some really cool things you can do that's outside of Chaos Volley, especially since it just got nerfed and is in a bit weaker state. But let me know your thoughts, and if you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe, and check me out at Twitch at twitch.tv/Redlaf. Till next time.